Hey guys, welcome back to my video log. I'm feeling fresh, I'm feeling very healthy. I know that some of you are probably wondering, okay, so what do you like to cook? So we're gonna go to a grocery store that I particularly like. It's Superior Grocers. And inside Superior Grocers is a particular type of fajita beef that they make. It's like a very special marinade. And I need that marinated beef. So, we're gonna do a couple things in today's episode or today's video log where we get to use some of the new devices that we just bought from the last episode, such as I got a new tripod. It's the Mac trimmed tripod. So I'm gonna set this up and then you're gonna see that set up. And also a new microphone as well is going to be added into this episode. And let's get on out of here and let's check out the grocery store that is a hidden value that I particularly like in LA. I had to travel a bit, but I'm telling you, man, the fajitas are so worth it, especially because I can't marinate the beef the same way. So, in a different neighborhood that I lived in LA, I was like right next to the grocery store that I'm trying to go to. But now I had to take a local bus, basically. But this one's a lot smaller. Like this one's a lot more tolerable. As you can see, like hardly anybody inside here. Empty is nice. Empty is perfect. The only reason why I'm using the bus right now is because all my cars got wrecked. 3 of them. And yep. So one way I like to do things is to just use public transportation. So, but we'll another thing is it's easier to film this way. Because if you're trying to capture street videography and stuff like that, you can't just jump in and out of a car all the time. It kind of be weird. So some spots are just much more accessible by using public transit, ironically, because you can't park your car in some spots. Some spots you just can't. You can't cross a bridge and then just jump off the bridge and park your car and take a video. It doesn't work that way. But there's, at least in this video series, show you everything. It's also really affordable to travel this way. So if you don't have money, public transportation is a really good option, especially because it's not just poor people use it. Anybody with money, no money, it doesn't fucking matter. Great resource. So I just want to get to my grocery store, right? Yeah, it has a particular ingredient and you can only find it at this type of store. So again, another reason why I know a lot of videos on YouTube, they're like, hey, the public transportation in LA is pretty bad, but you just have to be really good at using the bus system, basically. And if you're pretty good at using the bus system, you can pretty much get anywhere. Pretty much anywhere except for the hills. So once you get up to the hills, then it's just better just use a car or get a Lyft or an Uber ride. But as long as you don't have to get up into the mountains or the hills and stuff, then most of LA you can just kind of use a bus or rail or a combination to get to where you need to go. I would just say that's my rant on my way to get to the grocery store before I show you guys a cool recipe that I got. I don't know, the place looks kind of shabby, but I'm not joking when I say this is one of my favorite grocery stores. Lots of street vendors right next to me and stuff like that. Pretty cool, right? I'd have to say. I don't know. It's the meat. This place is all about the meat. Now, other people, they'd be like, yeah, the recipe, so Mexican food in particular, but for me it's just the meat. I need the fucking meat here. Hey boss. So I need some fajitas on the double. can I get 2 pounds of the marinated beef chuck steak? Oh, the marinated beef chuck steak's over there, huh? She's making it right there? Oh, hell yes. That's my favorite. All right.
You're allowed to take videos here inside the store.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Okay. Appreciate you as well. Actually, they kind of got butthurt while I was filming in there, but still, I got the bulk of what I wanted. Me grabbing the food I was looking for. The fajitas are to die for, bro. That's the #1 reason why I still go to that store, even though they'd be like, "Hey, like, don't film yourself buying food from us." Like, what the fuck? That's like some of the best marketing you can get. Is just somebody filming themselves buying your product. Like, give me a fucking break. Maybe people just fucking hate me. Definitely check it out if you're in Los Angeles, for sure. Plus, it's not expensive. That's the thing. If you're on a budget and you need to save some money, this is a good store to go to, period. So I know this doesn't make any sense right now, but we went through all that effort just so we can have that. Skilled butchers at your service. Well worth it. Pair that with some rice, and we have ourselves a pretty good meal. And so I'm gonna start getting that prepared right now. My kitchen's a bit of a mess, but the reality is a real, like, this is who I am, you know, so just gonna have to take me in as the messy YouTuber that just doesn't really care. Trying to show you guys a real slice of life rather than just try to pretend like, hey, you know what, everything's fucking perfect and, you know, all rosy and sunshines and, you know, whatever the hell. Guys, another thing I want to talk about is I increased the shutter speed on my camera from the last time I filmed, and that should have reduced the they call it a wavy, like it's like this weird wavy black line that moves up and down the frame of a video. And so I had that problem where there was like this weird black, like wavy thing going up and down my video camera. And it's, I forgot the exact word for it, but it's like some weird black motion blur that basically the lighting of the scene is moving at a different pace than, or at a slower pace than the shutter speed, and therefore I had a different video feedback issue. Another thing you'll notice that if I wanted to film in this direction with the light pointing like with the background towards me, I would need 2 lights. So I need to buy 2 lights, like artificial lights on this side in order for me to film facing this direction as well. So in order to film correctly, it turns out that you need to study, you need to adjust your settings, and then you need to go back and reiterate and modify your approach. In this particular case, I'm in a blessed situation where I have some experience filming, some experience video editing. So when it pertains to scaling my new content channel, I I think you'll be able to notice the difference in terms of speed of audience growth and acquisition as well, because we focus on every aspect of making our content get better, but we also have to acknowledge that there's some elements to us that we can improve. Everybody can improve. I can improve, and I improved just modestly from the last video as well. Do I like to cook. So I'm also a little bit more careful since yesterday. You know, camera disaster of me like dropping camera. So, you know, let me know what you guys think in the future when I finally achieve an audience for my YouTube channel. However I achieve my audience, which in this particular case, right now, I just want to drop the sizzle down. It's like first person perspective. Like this fajitas, why not have like green bell pepper and onions and stuff like that? And to be honest, I would have, but I just kind of felt like, you know, it's kind of like redundant. But it just wasn't included. So they didn't package the onions. So they didn't package the onions and the green bell peppers into it with the beef. So that's why I just kind of don't have any onions and the bell peppers in there. And if I added the bell peppers and the onions separately, it would taste completely different as far as like fajitas go. So it tastes like the onions and the bell peppers would be a lot more raw. So no, I know you think I'm crazy, so I just pulled out all the beef, right? So I pulled out all the beef from the frying pan. So that's over there still. And we had to chop up the beef now into smaller pieces. You see this done at the burrito stands all the time, but this into the stove right there. From the way you cook or something, I don't know. So some of that footage gets edited out for sure. But now the beef is nice and chopped and tenderized, right? Like the sauce is still inside the stove top. I just pulled it out, chopped it up. Some of them are a bit flankier that I want, just so that I can have something flankier to chop into. Some of them are smaller. But this is kind of what goes inside of your burrito. On top of that, Latinos like to dump in like heavy amounts of pico. And some rice, and some cheese, and some beans. And this is standard burrito. But I subtract the beans from my burrito because I just don't like beans in burritos. Makes me too gastric, I guess. So I don't eat beans as much as other people might when they're eating Mexican food. So let's see. Look at that. Gorgeous. This is just, most people will never understand this unless they live in LA or had some of this type of burrito beef. And then I have some beautiful rice just like sizzling along with it, going along for the ride, just like, hey, look at me, man. Oh, look at that. That's incredible. So I get to have a really good meal. Fuck what Gordon Ramsay has to say about the best version of a steak. Like, come on, guys. You ever wonder how the burrito vendor does the shit they do at their stall? Or what if you could take that from them, like I have, and turn it into a rice dish like this? Something where you have like, it looks Mediterranean, doesn't it? But it's not. Technically, jasmine rice comes from Indonesia, I think, or Thailand, somewhere in Asia. The word jasmine's inside of it. So basically, I just took the burrito beef that street vendors use in LA, and some flavor profile very similar to it. And then I cook Asian rice to perfection and just dump it right next to each other. This is my favorite. When I'm at home alone, well, not my favorite, but the fact that I run away with authentic Mexican food. If I were a street vendor and I had to buy like some marinated like produce from like a grocery store to sell to people, this would be it. And some people would think I'd be the one that created that secret recipe, but I just know where to get the recipe. No, I sell that for like a $13 street burrito or something. It would fool people. So we're kind of struggling with filming in artificial light, and the thing is that we're dealing with shutter speed. So if I start to move around in this particular way, you'll see this horizontal black line frame coming down. So apparently, depending on the angle, we need to work on shutter speed, or we need to invest into some better lighting equipment, or a combination thereof. So this effect is something I'm working on eliminating. It's also a part of like kind of like my study of like better videography. Like, how do I avoid this rolling shutter effect? And how do I find the right shutter speed? The ISO is set pretty high and the aperture is also like at a lower level. So I'm in focus, everything else is out of focus, but if you turn around, as soon as I turn around, you'll notice that the horizontal lines disappear. So it's a factor of like the direction in which the artificial light is landing. And the perception of the sensor, the movement, and the shutter speed. So it's right now I have the shutter speed on automated, and hopefully this is an area that I can also work on, is just figuring out shutter speed and artificial lighting. Especially when I'm filming on the go, I don't want that horizontal line effect that's happening really aggressively right here. So definitely want to work on this some more. So I'm kind of running with an experiment right now. The ISO is set at 800 and my shutter speed is at 20. So maybe this helps eliminate some of the rolling shutter effect in this lower light setting. Now I had to manually adjust the shutter to a much lower speed. So you'll notice a humongous dip in frame rate, but you'll also see that the rolling shutter frame, or whatever that is, basically the light flickering effect that you saw in the camera capture just got eliminated. But in order to do that, I set a way slower shutter speed so that the speed of the shutter capturing the light would flicker. Like you won't see the light flicker because it's capturing images slower than at which the light is flickering, basically. So this is one workaround that I'm finding on the camera, but I think there are multiple. This is just one thing that stuck out to me in the very first episode, is that if the light changes and the scene moves a lot, how do I avoid this weird rolling, that rolling frame that I just showed you earlier? And it doesn't always apply to everybody, but if you're more on the go and you're moving around and you don't have full control over your lighting, the last thing you want are those rolling black bar frames that can continue to roll over your video. So for me, I'm finding that reducing the shutter speed is effective when you're in isolated when you're in low light and using artificial light. It doesn't matter so much with natural light when I'm filming in natural light, but hey, just another observation that I'm noting here on my Sony ZV-E10. So I think I said the name of my product correctly. This is Sony ZV. It's a Sony ZV-E10. But yes, it's looking like I might have been able to address the weird flicker that I was noticing earlier, but I have to accept a much slower shutter speed. So now this scene is a little bit different. So we adjusted the exposure a little bit more, and I increased the shutter speed by just 10 more. So now we're at 1/30, and we're recording at 4K at 25 frames with the freaking shutter speed of about 1/30. So 1/30 millisecond shutter speed. And we increased the color by about plus 2.0 color saturation. So overall, this is having a much more positive effect as far as filming at night with artificial light. So again, none of this would be that interesting to people, but for the sake of this video log, I want to talk about light performance, or this is going to enable me to film from a different perspective, which is important because everybody needs to be able to film in a different perspective on the fly. I have this tripod that we're building right now, so let's just get the tripod out. So I'm stoked. I'm not sure what to think quite yet, but if you look at the tripod in isolation, let's see. So okay, so I'm gonna do some off-camera work to figure out what to do with the tripod. I'm just saying that, hey, we got one. We got a tripod. Comes with like a warranty card or whatever. I'm not sure about that. My thing is just, how can I get immediate utility out of the tripod? And I'm trying to wonder, like, how do I make the best use of it? Does that, oh wow, like it extends this way? Okay. So, what if I want to set it up so that it's like, oh dear, across the board. Look at that, wow. So now, I have a lot of flexibility as far as like the different heights that I can film. So now I don't have to worry about, hey, can somebody hold the camera for me? It's like, no. Like, I have a perfect tripod ready to go, set up here. And it's a much larger tripod that allows me to get different full frame shots. I need to scale up my content production effort. And in order to scale up my content production, I need to be smart about my equipment and my equipment purchases. So technically speaking, I'm technically planning on using my second bedroom as my recording studio. Especially if in the event, like I did rent out this spare bedroom to like an Airbnb guest. But before the Airbnb guest tries to use the spare bedroom, or I rent it out and I talk about the results of that, I am going to record a number of videos here using this tripod setup and kind of just see how you all think about this new tripod that I have. Alright guys, So I'm filming at 16 millimeters right now. I want to try it out, kind of, to see like, is this supposed to be filmed like this? Like a wide angle shot with a lens and camera hooked up like that, sort of. I think that's what it's for. And then you just kind of like put it on to the tripod. So let me go ahead and try and put this onto the Mactrum as well. And then I'm gonna take the camera off of it. So apparently this also works that way as well. So like you see what I'm saying here? Like, so I'm putting the camera lens up on top. And you know, now you guys get the gist, right? Like you would film on your smartphone using this as well. Do I recommend filming on a smartphone? Not unless it's like required. Like, you know, unless you're like doing like a smartphone product review and you're like, oh, or your phone is like your only device, then I guess you could film using a smartphone this way. Me personally, I prefer using my main camera, but this is a nice to have. Like, this is certainly nice to have as far as like having like an alternate camera where I can kind of like look at myself getting filmed. So now we got the Movo Mini Wireless Pro. We are going to put this inside of the camera and we're gonna try out new mics. Okay, there we go. So let's check out the Movo Mini Pro. Definitely want to include you guys a bit more in this, so I'm gonna cover the light real quick. This is what the product looks like when you pull it out, like this. Very simple. So we want to be able to install this. I could buy something more expensive than this. I didn't feel the need for it for the time being. Hopefully I'm wrong. Like, you know, like you're not always rewarded for spending more money sometimes. So keep that in mind. Like, so we got charging cables that go with it as well for the Movo Mini Wireless. And there's multiple charging cables so that you can charge these. So you have to charge each of them separately, I'm guessing. So, hey, and it comes with like a separate pouch for itself so that you might not lose it. Definitely want to keep that with you in the camera bag then. So what do I think about this so far? Well, I haven't installed it yet. I want to give it a shot right now. And then another thing is, you know, the camera looks better if we go from this frame. Oh, that could be so much better. Okay, so how's that look for you guys? Way better, doesn't it? Okay. So for this, we got the Movo Mini Wireless right there. I told you guys that without artificial light, we can't film in like we have to film in this direction facing the window. We can't face, I don't think it works very well when I face the opposite direction for my testing right now. So we're testing a bunch of things at the same time and we're video logging our progress so that it makes much more sense. I don't even think there's any power on these yet. So we before we can just like test and implement the Movo Mini Wireless, we need to actually charge our wireless microphone up. And then once we charge the microphone up, then we can test the performance of an external microphone that attaches to my new camera. So let's test out the audio quality next. We got the Movo Mini Wireless, and I think it works. So the way I'm gonna tell is if I can just sort of like talk and see if I can talk through barriers and stuff. Maybe this is where maybe I can't get through a wall or something like that, but for the most part, I feel like, you know, this is reasonable for some test footage. I'm gonna do another test, this time with the camera flipped and face towards me again. So test number 2. All right guys, so I am testing out the Movo Mini Wireless Pro, Movo Mini Duo. As you can see, it's held right here. So for the most part, I needed something a bit more budget friendly for my video logging setup. I don't want to be known for just spending a ridiculous amount of money on everything. I have other areas that I have to spend money on, which you'll see in my video log series. But in either case scenario, this is a very fascinating product. We are experiencing for the first time, you know, like uniform audio. I have my camera on a tripod, as I had just kind of showed you from last night. And I just didn't really feel like, you know, filming much more in the nighttime. I figured I'd just wait till the next day and see if I could get some more energy in the following day to kind of organize my stuff in here and see what I could do. Now, the reason why having like a microphone, like a wireless microphone is so important for me is because I record video footage of me that's a bit further away from the camera, whether I'm doing work related to my clients, cleaning in my cleaning company, or if I want to do talking videos where I talk to the camera directly like I am doing right now, then you know, I'd have to stand a fair distance further back away from the camera, like I'm doing in my spare bedroom. And then by standing a fair distance further back, you know, obviously the microphone is a lot further away on the tripod. So this is why I made sure that I would have a wireless microphone, like right here. So I think I sort of beefed a decent amount of the footage. So what happened was that I accidentally tapped the microphone, the Movo, and I hit the power button on accident while I was recording. And I went on to this long rant for like 30 minutes. And basically, what happened this time is that with this, you have to be careful not to hit this particular power button while you're recording on the Movo Mini. If you barely tap it, the entire audio will most certainly turn off on accident, and I just did that, which I'll show you in the scene again from the prior clip. Phone. Like right here. So just be mindful of that. My first impressions is that the audio is decent, you know. It certainly makes my audio much more conforming whenever I'm anywhere within the room or anywhere within a certain distance. I would say though that if you're behind like an obstacle like I am right now, maybe the microphone recording doesn't work as well. Maybe if you're over here on this side as well, like if I get further away from the camera, like obviously the recording isn't going to work as well on this transceiver because there's a lot of physical objects blocking it. But as long as you prevent that from happening, where you have physical objects blocking the different from the receiver to the transceiver, there's no physical objects blocking it. I think I got away with spending in a budgetary way and got the full value from it, and I'm thrilled with the outcome. Really hungry as well, so I guess you're just gonna have to watch me cook some food real quick. Alright, so we got ourselves some chicken fajita. For this one in particular, I am stoked. This is gonna taste so good. At least if you had to capture it from my perspective. Nothing's better than a fajita that this is like just fresh as heck. And then obviously gotta cook some more rice here, but you know, definitely I want to roll the footage for a bit. Let you guys see me cook for a while, because otherwise, you know, it's very self-explanatory. You just dump the meat into the stove top. You can put the rice. You heat it up, put some water inside of it, you know. So one of my favorite things to cook is like chicken fajita, guys. Like, you'll see me cooking in my kitchen here. I kid you not. Like, I shit you not. Like, I just love to cook fajitas. That is like my number one. That is like my number one go-to item. And what gets me excited is that you know, I think universally, you know, people can accept the fact that some combination of vegetables, meat, rice is good, you know. That, you know, obviously, I plan on cooking a lot more food on this YouTube channel, but I also want to take you to different spots. Like, there's restaurants that I go to personally that, you know, some of you might be surprised by here in the future. Videos where they're cooking and different aspects of their lives are introduced slowly into the video log, and so I figured I'd just introduce some of my cooking routine. And one of my go-to meals is a combination of beef fajita and chicken fajita. I'll cook like a basic, like, you know, chicken breast, it's some vegetables and rice, but they're like filming on like a like $5,000 camera or something like that, but they can't, you know, cook anything that's that interesting for their audience. Like, come on, like we started out with beef and chicken fajitas that I got from Superior Grocers. And if you start there, you'll find like a decent number of combinations for the chicken fajita and the beef fajita that I would highly recommend, especially if you're on a budget and you want to get a decent taste of Mexican food. I would start with fajitas. Fajitas with rice, fajitas with Spanish rice. In my case though, I don't really make Spanish rice that much. I could certainly experiment with it on some of my future videos though. Because I've been thinking about how I can make a unique Spanish rice recipe on camera or something like that. That'd be interesting. But yes, I think this video is coming to its conclusion. We had to run out, get supplies, cook, talk about, you know, certain aspects of my life with you, and then also make some upgrades to our overall film production setup. I anticipate that, you know, in the next couple days I have to make another purchase for like my music license from Epidemic Sound. So hopefully, you know, the next video log, you know, will be produced in the next 2 to 3 days. So that was just another ridiculous rant. And in the time that I was ranting, the fajitas are done, and now we get to eat. See, look at that. Spend a couple minutes of your time with me, and we get to plate ourselves with some extra food. Anyways, guys, this is the final completed product. It is chicken fajitas with rice. I don't know, maybe you guys want to watch me eat again from beef fajitas to chicken fajitas. Maybe not this time. I think I can spare you guys with that rant earlier, but instead, I think I'm working on looking for music for my next video series or video episode is what I'm working on right now on my computer, and I really need to eat and I'm hungry. So yeah, guys, you're gonna have to let me go here for this episode here probably. As far as like the food part, and then maybe I have like an outro here after. I don't know. I'm just really feeling hungry right now. Anyways, guys, that does it for this video log or whatever that I have for you guys today. And I hope that's good enough for you.